me and my friends, we laughed the whole time. We had a really good time. And
Good.
I think if you are between the ages of like 20 and 45, you, maybe 25 and 45, you'll enjoy it. I think it could have been way more woke and feminist and agenda pushing than it was. I think it's a good insight into and there are feminist undertones in the movie, but only in the sense that feminism has been part of growing up and coming of age, during the 90s and aughts, basically like the 90s. If you were like growing up playing with Barbies at any point in the 90s, this movie will like resonate and will have nostalgia for you. But it's not like the movie doesn't assume that you will be a feminist. I don't know if that makes sense at all, but it's like
It does.
it's very much just present. I don't think that the movie is man hating. I don't think that it's like, oh fuck the patriarchy. If anything, it's like, oh, your expectations of what your adult life is going to be like as a kid is not at all how it's going to pan out as it is when you grow up. Like when you're little, you're like, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be a professional gymnast. And then you grow up and you're like, oh no, I'm just answering phones and I fucking hate my life. It's more like that sort of coming to reality moment. So, uh, I don't want to bore you too much with the details, but I would say if you're curious, like go and see it and you'll probably have a good time. If you're going there, like, and in fact, I was going there looking to have a bad time and looking to hate it, and I still liked it. So I
It's always
really
nice
think
though.
if you're a chick between the ages of 25 and 45, you're probably gonna like it. If you're a dude, you're probably not. If you're a dude who didn't play with Barbies, like, what is the point of even going to see it? Like, I think there's no point. Even if you're seeing it to like do a culture commentary response, there's really no point because it's not going to be for you. Just like Fast and Furious 10 is not going to be for me and is not going to like speak to my interests.
Yeah, I heard it kind of like mocks the woke stuff.
It
That's what I
does.
heard. Yeah, and that's why I'm interested even more because at first I'm like, I'm not gonna see this. This is stupid. I'm gonna go see Oppenheimer, and now I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll just give it a shot and I'll just go see it because of that.
Yeah, I seen
Absolutely.
it and I liked it. I agree with Christy. I think there, of course, there's some feminism in it, but even before everyone did the reviews or was talking crap about it, I'm like, it's Barbie's a feminist icon. There's gonna be something, and I mean, it's for little
Right.
girls. But when you go into it and you look at it, like how Barbie Land is, it's like a little girl playing with her. She doesn't walk down the stairs; she just floats off the roof. And like Ken asks to like sleep over, and she's like, "Why?" It's like, "Cause we're boyfriend and girlfriend." It's like a little 5-year-old playing with it, and people are getting mad about like Ken's homeless. They made him homeless. It's like
Yes.
and when you think about it as like little girls, I had like one Ken and 10 Barbies. Ken was just like not important because little girls care about Barbie and that's what they were going for. And people just kind of took it way too far. So I thought
Yes.
it was funny when they were like throwing up over the flat foot. I was cracking up. Ken, I loved
Yes.
Ryan Gosling in this. He was great. I was like, hot take, I didn't hate it. And people were like, what? You didn't
Thank
hate it? And
you.
I was like, I did a
Thank
review and
you.
I critiqued what needed to be critiqued. Like some of the feminist parts could have been removed, but it didn't make it terrible. I gave it a 6 out of 10 because it's a Barbie movie. It's about a doll. Like it's not I didn't go in there expecting it to be like an Oscar nominated movie. That was my
Exactly. I
take.
love that you said that. And I think there's a little bit of a sense of if you hated this movie and you say online or say publicly that it was feminist trash, that makes you somehow smarter or better or like more culturally astute than everybody else. No, it doesn't. Like I don't think we should. There's very much a trend, I feel like, in I don't know, my corner of the internet to say like, "Oh, every movie that comes out is trash." It's like, "No, I think a lot of movies that come out are trash, but if you can enjoy one every now and again, yeah, like go ahead, like get your girlfriends, go see this movie, get some fucking popcorn, like go ahead and have a good time. Don't feel bad about yourself for enjoying a movie. You're not a bad person if you want to and go see the Barbie movie. And I made this point on my review earlier. It's not like the Star Wars franchise or the Avengers franchise or anything with Marvel where it's like an established set of characters and plot lines and then they subvert them, make them woke, race swap them, whatever. That pisses, like, there's never been a Barbie movie made before, so there was no history to ruin, there was no story to ruin. It's like, all right, this was an original story to do with whatever Greta Gerwig wanted. And I agree, like, it was cute to have the moment where, like, oh, her tippy toes went flat and everyone was
She
like, "Oh my
falls.
god," it was like a bimbo movie because Barbie is
Yeah,
bimbo, and, like,
she
when
is.
when you're playing with Barbies as a kid, you're just not thinking about Ken, not because you're like, "Fuck the patriarchy," but because you're more interested in, like, multiple outfit changes and, like, her, climbing up your bed and
Mhm.
what is she doing next? Now she's in a car, now she's in the house. So there were some really funny, like, moments of like, "Oh, yeah, where does Ken live? I
Oh,
guess
Ken
he's
was just so
homeless."
good. I loved him in it, like, especially when he had the coat on, and he's like, "I look stupid." I'm like, "No, bro, you look great." Like, there was just some really fun I was cracking up. I had Epic Mike on my stream yesterday, and he gave it a D plus, but he was laughing talking about Russell. He's like, "There's parts that were funny," and he's a guy. He was like, "There was funny parts in it." He admitted it.
D plus. It's not made for Epic Mike. It's not
And yeah, he
made
even said that.
for
He's like,
dudes.
he's like, "I did it to review it. I'm not the audience. I know." He's like, "But I will admit that there was funny parts." And I'm like, "Well, thank you for that, for at least admitting that it made you laugh, because there were some good parts in it." And I
I'm
just think
surprised they
people are
didn't do
going a
it.
little overboard with some of the stuff. Like they're
It's
diving so deep
overboard.
into it, and it's like it's not that deep. Like saying that it's
No.
anti-mom. I did not get that at all. The whole anti-mom thing. I'm like, where? Can you explain to me where? I don't
They
know
get
what you're
that
talking.
from the
Yeah,
beginning scene
The
where
baby.
they're like, "Since the dawn of
yeah.
time, the only doll that kids had to play with was a baby doll, and you had to be a mom." And it's the scene where the little girls are, like, smashing their baby dolls. That's the only place that they would be
But
getting that from.
that's toy history. They only had
Yeah.
dolls, and that is after a certain age, we all love baby dolls, but then you get to a certain age and you're like, "Oh, Barbie, I can change her. She can go to the club. She could be a doctor. She can be whatever I want her to do." And
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
it
surprised they didn't
was
make her
silly.
like a different race like they did with Little Mermaid, Snow White. Like I'm surprised that
Exactly.
they
Well, they had many other characters in Barbie's world
that's
that were
true.
Black, Asian, brown, missing a limb,
Wheelchair. Yeah.
I loved
wheelchair
Weird
Barbie.
Barbie forever in the split, and her
Kate
hair's cut.
McKinnon was Weird Barbie, which was the one that just got drawn on, which is what I did to all my Barbies. I would cut their
Me
hair and
too.
draw all over their faces. And like when you see her, she's got drawings all over her face and her hair's all fucked up and cut short. And Kate McKinnon is actually a perfect casting for
And
such a
she's
character because
permanently in
she's
a split.
kooky. Yeah. She's like twitchy and weird, and she's not afraid to make herself look ridiculous.
Mhm.
That's funny.
And if you watch this movie with like, "Hey, how did I play with my Barbie dolls? How did they move? What kind of situations did I put them in? How did I feel when I was however young?" Like, you will enjoy it, but if you're watching it, like, looking for feminist nods and looking for anti-motherhood and shitting on the patriarchy, like, you're
Yeah.
you're not gonna have a good but why would you a lot of us go into movies now, especially people who
Yeah.
review it who are not who are even a little bit right of center or just center. You go into a movie expecting to hate it, and you're like, "Okay, it's gonna be woke, and it's gonna be, trying to brainwash you or something," but I didn't find that with this movie. I liked it, I laughed the whole time. Um I don't think it was anti-man. If anything, it made fun of the sort of, like, courtship methods that some guys do to women, like, oh, Ken is like, "Oh, I wanna play my guitar at you," you
Oh
know?
my god, that when they were all playing the same
Silly.
song, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that was hilarious. That was a good one. Yeah.
But if you
I
were
think you
to
guys have sold me on this movie. Totally. Now I
make a
want to see
Ken
it.
movie or a G.I. Joe movie that talks about the unrealistic expectations of men and boys. Oh, we have to be tough. We have to be sensitive, but we can't be pussies. We can't cry, but we have to be understanding. Like there would be an equal and opposite, the movie does talk about pressures of womanhood, whereas like there are pressures of manhood and boyhood. Just because you verbalize those pressures doesn't make you anti-man or anti-patriarchy, if that makes any sense at all.
He just wanted to
Brittany
ride a horse.
Venti is here. Oh my
Hello.
god, it's Venti! Speaking of bimbo power.
Yeah, I agree that just I know they went on that whole like rant that made some people roll their eyes that you were just talking about, but that doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, men don't have their own struggles or problems. It was just kind of cheesy. That's what I think.
It was a long rant of like, imagine an exasperated America Ferrera, like your typical working woman exasperated rant, like, ah, I have to be a girl boss, but I can't be rude to anybody. I have to have money, but I can't ask for money. It's like all these things that
Oh, the empowering
a
speech. We could have done
typical
without
woman
it.
that's like, yeah, that's the thing is like you have to be okay with asking for a raise or asking for more money, and it's just all these sort of like internal monologue moments. If you were to put them all into a speech, it does kind of sound like, all right, you sound complainy, but I could understand what she was saying because
Yeah,
I'm
they
like,
made
yeah,
it like long though. Like they
it
probably
was
could have
long.
shortened it a bit, but yeah,
Yeah, a lot of
it
the
wasn't that bad.
scenes, a lot of the scenes felt like they were like 5-10 minutes too long, especially at the end. They could have cut like 10 minutes of that. It was too
Oh,
long.
yeah. They did not need the whole part of Margot Robbie's, Barbie character going in to be like it was like her moment of like, "Oh, put me in to be a human." Like, we don't need that at all. Like, you coulda just they coulda just cut the last half hour. Like, we don't need to see her going back in to be a human and her like, "I'm going to LA as a blonde woman going into the world," and then everyone thinks she's gonna be a model or go try out for something, and she just goes to a gynecologist. So
I
it's
thought
like,
she was gonna be the new president of Mattel or something, and then she's like, "I have a gynecologist appointment." I'm like, "Oh God, what?" Okay,
yeah, it
like
just
it
wasn't worth
wasn't the worst
all that.
thing ever, but it just wasn't needed. The rest
Do you
of
See,
think
the
there'll be
that's
a
what I'm
second
hearing
one?
from all the women. That's what I'm hearing from like I would say like 90% of women that I've heard talk about. They're like, "Oh yeah, it wasn't like the best thing ever. It was like kind of mid." Like that's the consensus. But then I turn to the guys and they're like, "This is literally the worst
They're
thing
so
I've ever
mad.
fucking seen."
I said it in my review. I was like, listen, if you're a grown man, this movie wasn't made for you. It's for millennial girls, Gen X. That's what it was made for. So I understand why men don't like this movie because it's about a Barbie doll.
Yeah, but you don't see us going around trashing Fight Club. And yes, it
I
was
know.
objectively a better movie, sure, but like
Yeah.
it still was like for some people kind of mid, like especially
Yeah.
women watching. But you don't see if we did that, we would be told, shut the fuck up. It's not your movie.
That's
So
true.
True.
where's
Good
that
point.
same
Yeah.
courtesy?
I know. Can we just have something? Let us have this. We haven't had a good chick flick in a while.
Seriously.
Not that this
like,
was the
we're
most
gonna-
fantastic one. I said this, like I've been talking to some girls about this. If Legally Blonde was made today, they would call it woke garbage and feminist garbage. Think about
True.
it. Think about it. The main character
Wow.
is a white privileged guy that pays his way into Harvard, but we loved it 10 years ago. If Barbie came out 10 years ago, all of this wouldn't be going on. People would be like, "Oh, I like it. It's cute and fun." That would
Mhm.
probably be the
Right.
consensus.
That's true.
If Legally Blonde came out today, everyone would be like, "Oh, white privilege. Look at this white woman thinks she can just
Yes.
sashay into law school." She says, "What? Like it's hard?" Which was seen as delightful bimbo power back in the day, but now would be seen very much as like white woman privilege, which
Yeah.
yeah.
I blame the political brain rot. It doesn't allow anyone to enjoy anything. It's like, oh, Ben
Yeah.
Shapiro said it was bad, so now I can't watch it. I can't
That's
use
a
my
good
own
point.
judgment, critical thinking.
Yeah, definitely. Even like when you see movies like House Bunny, like those classic movies with like
Mhm.
the female leads and stuff. Nowadays, forget it. It would just be total like feminist, like people coming after it. You make a good point. Like if Ben Shapiro says anything, the right goes nuts. And people can't enjoy music anymore. People can't enjoy movies. Nothing. Everything has to be politicized. Just enjoy it. Everyone needs to calm down. Just enjoy entertainment for what it
Everyone
is.
does need to just calm down. I agree with that.
Just relax. Just it's
Relax.
entertainment. Just calm down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
become
I think a lot of
bimbo.
folks are there's a like a ravenous movie review culture going on
Mhm.
line right now because it does get clicks. People do rush to see, ooh, who do I like online and what is their opinion of this movie? Like, is it woke? Should I save my money? Should I go see it? I think a lot of people have been burned by Hollywood before, been burned by films that they should love, but then they go, oh, well, they ruined it. So what's the point? I think I don't know. Oh, Muffin's here.
There's
Okay.
sensationalism on both sides for sure. It's very much both extremes of like, it's woke garbage because it says the word patriarchy, even though like half the movie they're making fun of patriarchy. Like when Ryan Gosling goes up to the doctor, he's like, I'm a man, I get to be a doctor now, and he's like, no the fuck you don't.
That was
Where are your
so
qualifications?
fucking funny.
He's like, let me talk to a real doctor.
Ah.
She's like, you are. He's like, no. He just goes in the
Ryan
back.
Gosling is so fucking funny. If you watch him, he's like cracking up as he does his lines. Like there are scenes where he's genuinely like having a good time, having fun with himself, like tongue in cheek. Like, I can't believe this is my character. Like really being silly and having fun. And he's in, yeah, like what you were explaining, Amanda, like he's in a hospital and he's talking to a female doctor and he's like, oh, can I be a doctor? Like, I'm a man. And she's like, no. And she's like, can I talk to a doctor? She's like, you are talking to one. And then he looks over at a man. He's like, hello, doctor. He just like walks off. That's funny. If you don't find that funny, you have a stick up your ass.
We were not laughing like at anything that was completely bizarre. We wanted to hate it. I really did want to hate it.
I did too. I really wanted to hate it. In fact, it would have been way easier to hate this movie. I would have been, I think, more accepted by my internet friends if I hated it. Like, oh, come join the club. Yeah, I fucking hate it. Oh, it's the easiest thing to say that it's feminist trash. Easiest thing to say, oh my God, so many woke undertones. And no one's going to ask you, well, what were they? It's just, as long as you say there were woke undertones, it's like, yeah, you know?
Like, meaning
all
like,
I said was I didn't hate it. And some people were like, what? Did you see it? And these people didn't see it, but they watched, like you said earlier, their favorite creators reviewing it. I gave a fair review on it. I said the things I liked about it, a couple of things that I didn't like, and I gave it a 6 out of 10 because I thought that was fair because it's a Barbie movie. It wasn't, some just gripping Oscar nomination. Like I went in there expecting to hate it because of all the reviews. And then I thought about it. And I'm like, all these bad reviews are mostly men. It's a handful of women. I'm in a group chat with a bunch of women that were like, it wasn't that bad though. Like, wait, they were expecting to hate it just like you guys. There's a couple women that didn't like it, but part of me wonders if maybe they were just seriously looking to hate it and they didn't want to see any good in it.
I think, okay, here's the thing. I think that a lot of the satire that was in the movie went over a lot of people's heads because, for example, the little girl, the tween, she's supposed to be annoying and hateable and dumb because she's the kid. She doesn't understand why she's using these words. So like, she's like, Dad, you're culture appropriating by saying a Spanish word. Like, he's literally like the dad dating the mom. He's not allowed to say like a Spanish word. Like, it's supposed to be ridiculous.
Or she was like
supposed to be that, right? And remember the group of girls, they all look like Billie Eilish and that's the thing now. That's like that's like what's cool. It's like the TikTok generation. Like, I don't know how old any of you like lovely young ladies are, but it's the so Barbie walks up to them and the ridiculousness of Barbie walking up to the most popular girls in school and they're like, get away from us.
Yeah.
Like,
she has her own like bouncer. She has her own like, all right.
Tried to warn you.
Ridiculous. Right.
She's mean.
So and then also speaking of the costuming too, the most popular girl in school, like her sweatshirts get pink. It starts at black. Then it gets pinker and pinker and pinker. And then it brings her together with America Ferrera, her mom.
Yeah, and notice how she was happier when the daughter was happier when she was bimbo. She turned from bitch to bimbo, and she was literally happier by being more feminine. And then there was that one scene.
Yes, she was still wearing a hoodie, but at least it was a pink hoodie. So
true. And then there was the one scene where the little girl is like, or the tween is like, yeah, she's a nut, talking about Barbie. She's a nut job. I mean, reality challenge. Like, it's supposed to be a joke. It's not seriously telling the audience, you better say reality challenge. I don't know how anybody interpreted it like that. Like, how much more obvious does it have to be a joke?
Brittany, I am so glad. 100%. If you take it seriously in any way, it's about a doll. The whole movie is about a doll and Barbie world, and then they're making fun of, like, it's a completely satirical. It doesn't mean we hate men and they're all stupid and
because the doll is not like not wanting to be a hashtag trad wife. Like, that's not a reason to get up in arms about, because it's a doll. It doesn't have a preset
brain
value set.
Yeah, exactly. It's a doll. Right. it's a bit of a comment on, women's experiences, but that's fine. Would I call it like crazily feminist and I hate men? Absolutely not.
It's
We
Yeah,
love
and the
men.
message
They
at the
bone us.
end, like Ryan Gosling, the message they gave him was stop being pussy whipped. Like, how is that a bad message for men? Stop being pussy whipped, be your own person. I think that's
Yeah.
good messaging. I don't see how that's
Right.
man hating. And it was funny how they
Yeah.
like literally gave him like a manosphere red pill podcast persona.
He
Like they
did.
kind of
He-
turned him into Andrew
He
Tate
went-
and
Yeah,
then
with the
Kind of
mini
made
fridge.
that point. Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
had
And
an
he freaks out.
incel
He's like,
song.
you can only fit a 6-pack in there, and the freezer is not even good. Like he's so funny. There's funny parts in it. We enjoyed it. I'm sorry, but I'm not.
Oh, I wanted to show this
I think I've
before.
seen
This
some of
was-
that.
This was Laura Loomer's take on the Barbie movie, and then we'll stop about the Barbie movie. So this is from Laura Loomer. The Barbie movie has a conservative message. It reunites a mother with her teenage daughter who denied her affection and brings a mother and daughter closer. It also
true.
reinforces the fact that there's only two genders and tells men to stop being simps, except for, of course, on this program. If anything, it's a pro-family movie that mocks woke culture and shines a light on why feminism is unrealistic compared to patriarchy, which Barbie ultimately chooses because she goes to the real world. People who are telling you the movie is woke have lost their minds. The whole storyline revolves around bringing a mother and daughter with a strained relationship back together. How is that woke? I thought conservatives cared about family values. Yeah, Laura Loomer.
That's a different way.
That
to
is
look
a
at it.
very good point.
And
Yeah.
also the dad is very much a part of the life. I feel like if they wanted to go like super woke, he would have he wouldn't be a part of their life, and he was trying to learn their
Right.
language.
It would be
which
it would
also
be
was
Yeah.
a good
so
thing.
easy for them to go single mom.
We're
Yeah.
officially in clown world where Laura Loomer is the most sensible one in her
I don't
opinion
know who
about
this
this
is.
movie.
I don't know her.
This is her
Girl.
other she's a journalist.
She's
Um,
She
Okay.
got
Yes.
famous from accidentally, I think. So like her tire, it was called Tiregate. Her tire got slashed, she said, but it turned out her tire just went flat because a bunch of people were like zooming in and like proving it's like, where's your receipts? And that's how she first became famous, was over Tiregate because
wow.
she thought it was a hate crime, but it wasn't. Her
This is
tire
her
just went
other
flat,
review
which is
of
very
Barbie.
bimbo.
Don't listen to people who are telling you Barbie movie is woke. If anything, it's a genius mockery of wokeism, which I agree with. The movie
I
revolves
agree.
around the fact there's only two genders. It admits that in order to be a real woman, you have to have a vagina, and to be a real man, you have to have a penis. The movie is a mockery of feminism and struggle, and suggests that if you want to have a world that is unrealistic and run by women, then it's a fantasy land, like Barbie Land, where women think they are in control, but children are actually controlling their destiny. That is so base.
That's good.
The movie revolves around the concept that men run the real world, which is true. The movie also mocks youth who use who use terms like fascism to attack things and people they don't like. I agree with this
Exactly.
100%. Ultimately, the female protagonist of the film decides that she is happier living in the real world that is run by men. Barbie also tells Ken that he is more than simply what a woman thinks he is, which is a positive message. It reaffirms that men don't exist solely for the sake of satisfying women.
They never do anyway.
That is an empowering and anti-simp message for men. How on earth is that a woke message? If anything, it's a mockery of woke and a mockery of being a simp. Go see Barbie. Enjoy it. You will love it. It's hilarious. Wow.
Agreed.
Yeah, that
All
was a
right,
really good
Lumi.
take. That was really well said. That's exactly what I was trying
Yeah.
to articulate when I did a review on my channel about it.
Agreed.
About the
Yeah.
whole like, and everyone told me I was coping, by the way. It makes me so happy that I'm not alone on this one because I felt really alone. It was a really unpopular opinion amongst my channel and my viewers. Like they were like, you're coping. But I'm happy
Yeah.
to see like the day later that other women also agreed that it was pretty much satire of
Yeah.
wokeism and that the joke just went over a lot of people's heads.
It's
'Cause I hadn't seen your
completely
review yet, Brittany.
satirical, obviously. Like, I mean, if you don't get that, then you're basically you're just stupid. Obvious. That's crazy to think that it's like, oh well, it's gonna break up the family, and then it's very feminist and woke. It's not. It's a goofy movie, and
Right.
a lot of women. Sorry, we all went in trying to hate it, but we were all kind of like, fuck. We identify with at
On
least
what
one thing
planet?
here.
It was like I was like,
Fine.
shoot, I like this and I'm gonna get backlash for it. Like all I said was I
Mhm.
didn't hate it, and people were just like, oh. I'm like, I didn't say it was fantastic. I said it wasn't fantastic. I just didn't hate it, and people were like, how dare you? I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
excuse me.
teen comments. And
How dare you?
it's funny,
Lofty.
the idea that
It's making fun of them.
there's an entirely all-female group of construction workers. That's hilarious. That's somebody who doesn't live in reality. It's the same reason that we make fun of, like, oh, why aren't there more women Alaskan ice fishermen? Why aren't there more women who, I don't know,
Alaskan
work
ice
in the fucking middle of Hollow Earth or all these other like intense
The deadliest,
male jobs.
the deadliest snatch.
Yeah. Love you guys. Thank you for the chats. Thank you for the comments. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Bye. All right. Love you guys. God, I don't even want to leave. This candle smells so good. I don't want to leave. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye. Love you all. Join the Discord. Feet. Love you all. Wow. You guys are awesome. Come and get it. Bye, guys. Bye. Now I'm really leaving. Love you. Bye.